Hello, INTPs. How are you? It is Saturday, and as has become my routine, I've explored another area of Seoul. Today, I went to the Money Museum, 화폐 박물관, and I also went to the City Hall, which highlighted to me that Seoul is very different than it used to be. The City Hall, well, actually, I think the City Hall is probably just always closed on a Saturday. But I went to the lobby, nothing there, just a few old people. The Money Museum was interesting. It had me thinking about exactly what money is. And I'll say that it reminded me of my ideas, or reminded, like, I just recently I recently took a course on money, and it reminded me about about what that course said about money. How it basically said money is energy, and that's what I saw. I saw there was one exhibit on Korean money. There was another exhibit on the world's money, and what you see in just as you follow across the history is money has always existed, and it was just one form or another, and it was there for humans to keep track of the value provided to one another. So it represents value, it represents cooperation and trust. And there's one story you see for the I forget what it's called, but it was the Joseon Dynasty currency. The king at the time built a large palace, and in order to build it, he printed a lot of money. He printed so much money, and he gave it at a value of 10 times the existing currency, that the currency collapsed. And that's just another example to me about how money itself has no value. What actually has value is humans' trust and ability to collaborate, and the perceived value of what you have purchased. So it was a reminder again. I've been going, like, the vice president of my company has given me this, and I've just been. I think after 2 more trips, I will have visited everything noteworthy on the map. So there's a topic I want to talk about today, which is the larger idea I can talk about is emergence, which I think is a fascinating systems thinking idea. Emergence, systems thinking. And then I want to talk about the purpose of organization, and what was the question here? Organization and focus for an INTP. Organization and focus for an INTP. And I think emergence is a great way to explain it. So let me set this up right here, and then we'll talk about it. One second. All right, so let's first talk about what emergence is, and then I'll connect it to the idea of organization and focus. And let's make it a little cleaner this time today, huh? Let's do that. Learning bits by bits. Okay, so the idea of emergence in systems thinking is that there are certain concepts, there are certain properties, certain behaviors that you observe about something that is not present in the parts. It is in the interaction of the parts that creates a new phenomenon. One example would be Temperature. The temperature of a liquid, if you go through the theory in chemistry, is actually the average speed of all of the particles inside of that liquid. Liquid itself is an emergent property that comes from the way that the molecules are interacting with one another. They interact with each other in such a way that they become continuous, and they do not separate. They're in continuous bonds with one another, such that you create a liquid, or if you lower the temperature more, it becomes a solid. These are emergent properties. If you look at one molecule in the substance, you don't see a liquid. It is just what we call the combined interaction. What was the larger example I gave? Temperature. Temperature is the same kind of idea, where if you look at one molecule in the substance, you don't know what temperature it is. Temperature is an emergent property that comes from the interaction of individual parts. So I find, by the way, that I find that concept amazing. It explains so many things. I mean, language, for example, like these words. Who taught you all these words that I'm telling you? Well, the words that I'm telling you emerged. They emerged from the countless interactions between people, sharing words with one another, to the point where now there are right ways to say it and wrong ways to say it. The right ways and wrong ways emerged statistically as people used words in ways that intuitively followed what felt logical for everyone, right? So emergence is this idea that I think just happens. It's very fundamental to humans, and another example of emergence is how TE looks, or organization and logic looks, for INTPs. So there are two posts I made here in Quora that I think are related. Here's one. I was answering the question, what is the purpose of having rules in society? Why are people not allowed to live according to their own preferences? Well, we would love for that to happen. However, a situation emerges. Here's the very simple example I gave. You share a shower with someone. They wake up at 7 and you need to leave by 9. You wake up at 8 and need to leave by 9. They keep on using the shower at 8 and you keep having to leave without showering. So you discuss and set up an agreement. They will shower before 8, so you both get a chance to use the shower. That seems fair. So everyone gets to participate effectively in this agreement. Everyone gets to participate effectively in this agreement. And because they would like to be able to use the shower, and you would like to be able to use the shower, and we would like to all be able to use it before leaving, and we agree, the rule emerges from the needs of the two people involved. The rule has no meaning in and of itself. The actual intention was so that everyone could shower. So, to a TE person, they would say, you need to do it because that's what the rule says. To the TI person, once you see that this whole thing happened, it makes a lot of sense, and of course, you will shower before 8 because someone else has to shower before 9. I also think that this is a very natural reason why TI exists in societies. I think TI is essentially BS white blood cells, BS vaccines, where we question all the rules, and the rules that don't stand up to the questioning are processed and digested away by the INTPs, by the TI people who pull things apart and deconstruct, and when you deconstruct them and you find out there's nothing underneath, no one can follow those rules anymore. Those rules don't exist. But as you can see, this rule should exist because there is a very logical explanation for it, right? So this is an example, I think, of emergent TE. People live their lives, and a way to logically allow everyone to do everything comes out of their lives. TE has emerged. Here's another example where I explain what are some strategies for an INTP to improve organization and focus while maintaining creativity. What I have discovered in my own life is that even if I don't try to, or rather, I haven't tried to organize or focus, but the need for organization and focus has emerged. So I'll read this first. Here's my main approach. Go all in on creativity so much that you realize that to get any more creative, you need to organize and focus. That's my INTP authentic way, I believe, that organization and focus becomes important. So imagine you have started 5 projects, and each one is so exciting, but you find that that one thing that you've really been wanting to do hasn't happened over the last month. And so you say, okay, I will do that first thing in the morning, nothing else matters, take everything else off. And if you notice, you basically kind of did TE right there. You focused, and you said, this is the most important thing, I won't do anything else. And I feel that this is the INTP authentic way to start using TE when you have a lot of things that you really want to do. Then you start prioritizing TE. And then the next part I say here is you focused, but then there's this other meeting that you have scheduled that day, and if you focus on this thing, then you will miss that meeting. So you say, oh, I think I need a list of all my meetings so that I know what time of the day I can focus. Interestingly, what just emerged is organization of your day, scheduling. But for the INTP, the focus and organization are tools that are in service of your thought and creation. And so this loops back to my general thesis of saying go all in on any TINESI, which means theorize and experiment, and just go all out on all your experiments. Because my thesis that I am currently exploring and proving to myself is it will become naturally obvious, it will emerge, the purpose of schedules and organization and prioritization in the pursuit of your theories and your experiments. It's like, oh, this is getting out of control. Okay, I'm just going to do this one thing right now just so that I can make sure I do it because I want to move this project forward because it is my experiment. Yeah, that's the idea I wanted to explore. Let's see. Yes, here's I'll talk a little more about the end right here, where I say, when they're held up as unassailable gods to conform to, in other words, like how a TE person would think about it, organization focus, then I will dismiss them. It doesn't make sense. But if they emerge as enablers of creativity, if I do them, I can do more things, I can experiment more, then they are obvious. Their purpose has emerged from my behavior. So these two ideas, I think I can see that this is like this can be the authentic way for INTPs to end up focusing and organizing, and it comes naturally from their experimentation and exploration. I wonder if that will also happen for SE and my presentation, the way I visually present, and the way I work on like reputation and things. I can feel that coming out I can feel that coming out because ultimately I want to go that direction. I want to be perceived as having value. And I can feel it emerging from my TINE, from my experimentation. I can feel it emerging. I mean, the haircut today, the watch, the necklace, these are experiments. One day you will see this cleaning up because I can feel it. I can feel the difference in how I feel when I consume that kind of presentation. But as you can see, it's not the highest priority. The highest priority is my experiment. And that is as expected, all according to Keikaku, all according to plan. I am living out the INTP flow, I believe. Is there anything else I'd like to share for this? No. The general idea I wanted to explore is that organization and focus emerges for the INTP authentically as their experiments scale into the size that they become enablers of more experimentation. That's my theory, and I will continue to put that to the test. See you next time.